WOWT6. This is Heartland Focus.
Hey, good morning, and welcome to Heartland Focus. I'm your host, Tim Clark. Today is Husker game day, so go Big Red. I do believe we're going to win this game. We're going to win this game against Minnesota. And so I tell you, I've been seeing a great deal of confidence and hope in terms of the Huskers. And so let's don't be, these fair weather fans. Let's stick with our team. Let's go the distance. They're still in a rebuilding phase, and they're getting better. They're getting better. And so I'm still with you, Huskers, and I have a lot of confidence in your ability to turn that corner. So hopefully we'll get a big W today. Actually, I'm going to be enjoying a little tailgate at the house today, and I got some friends coming over. Thanks to Taste of Heaven mobile restaurant. They're going to be pulling up. They're doing a pop-up at the Clark's house this morning. Taste of Heaven, a mobile restaurant. My man Tony Sanders, thank you for the love. And more importantly, I can't wait to bite into some of those waffles, chicken and waffles. And later on, I understand we're going to be having some catfish for halftime. So getting my workout in so I can go ahead and fully indulge. But hey, before I bring on my guests, I wanted to talk a little bit about, there's a lot going on in our country. You have the Insurrection Task Force Committee. You have the infrastructure bill that's still in question. But most of all, that really the pain points, what's keeping me up is our democracy. We know, if you don't know, please believe me, it's fragile, and that it's at a breaking point. And really, how do we prevent that from happening as a people? And so we're not going to get it done the breaking point is this, and it's been said, it's something that is not brand new, but our democracy, largely at the core of it, is really the believability and really of you have a dominant, you have two-party system, Democrats, Republicans. And when you have elections, what's at the core of democracy is trust and integrity and really sportsmanship-like conduct. So you're going to have winners and losers in this whole thing, this journey of democracy. What happens when you have one side decide that there's no way that they can accept a loss and at all costs do what's in their power to send mixed messages, to put out lies, and to confuse people, and will not just accept that fact that, you had two people in a race, one person is going to lose, one person is going to win. The strength of our country, I believe, is accepting that loss, of saying, hey, you know what? I lost, you won. Now what we must do as a country is come together and begin to heal, because sometimes we know during elections it's painful, it's cutthroat, it's a lot of slanging there and banging and all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, when it's over, we have to get about the business and be about the business of running a country. And you cannot do that if you continue to hang on to the fact that, being a sore loser or I'm not going to accept the fact that I lost. We cannot move forward. That's going to be to a detriment in the fall of this country. And really what we've seen happen in our last election is this whole movement of not accepting what the people have voted, and especially it's okay. You had over 60 different judges ruled on if there was gross cheating and abuse in terms of our election system, and they really didn't find much at all to warrant this thing, to warrant a situation we're having right now. So we're fragile, we're at a breaking point. How do we stop it from breaking? I call it common sense thinkers, and really begin, when you think about really just how we're the components in which make up the strength of this country, it's really about the spirit, the fight, and really this whole notion of taking care of, built on Christian principles, right? Love thy neighbor, caring and giving. And I think we got to do the same thing. People that care about this democracy, it's time that we stand up and stand out and fight for it. It's not going to be easy when you have that negative force as strong as it is coming our way. We got to stand up for what's right and find common good and common purpose has to be our fight. And it's going to take courage. It's going to take commitment. And as they say, yes, we can. We can do this. We cannot allow ourselves to be defeated with lies and misinformation. So really, as we move forward, I think it's just for me, it's simple. How do we do right by humans? By just people, our neighbors, and I think, giving good information. I think we're pretty intelligent people that will make good decisions in terms of right and wrong, but just staring you in the face and someone is seeing something that's right, and they're just really saying wrong, 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 and it's not right. That's just buying into the hokey, just being really misled. And I don't think we can afford to do that. If we care about these civil liberties and equality and justice for all, we got to fight for that. It ain't gonna just, it ain't like we can wake up and thinking it's gonna be there. We got one of the baddest militaries in the world that wake up every day to protect those liberties and freedoms. And so we got to do our part right here at home. We got to do our part in fighting for that. Leadership matters. Leadership matters. And there's no way we should, at this point, in terms of just how far we have come, accept people that really don't respect facts and honesty and integrity. It should matter. It should matter. And so I encourage, from our parents, our young people, it starts young. I think if we look at the core of just really how do we treat each other, and what we need to do to help to shore up and help people that's economically challenged or poverty, all those kind of things. This is a caring and giving country. So I just don't think we don't want to venture into that situation where our democracy is broken and we have to start over. I can't even imagine what that's going to look like. So we better fight for it. All these folks that wake up every day and go to church and Bible fearing and that really believe in love thy neighbor. We better start activating that and doing that, and don't let one party drive us away from our core. Those core principles of who we are and what we are willing to stand up for and die for. There's a whole lot of people that have bled and died for our civil liberties and freedoms that we have. And this is not a time to go backwards. This is time to lean forward and protect what's ours. So I ask you to join me in standing for what's right in terms of protecting this democracy. And it starts with how do we treat each other. It starts with how we treat each other, and that we give enough to help a brother that needs a helping hand. We can do this. It's gonna take collective impact, and it's gonna take courageousness in terms of standing up against those forces that are just really trying to move us far away from each other and create this racial tension, and all driven based on fears. We cannot be led as a country by fears. We cannot. Fear will drive us into the ground. This is a country of hope, of prosperity, that are you your brother's keeper? What do we need to do to come together? So I just felt that was heavy on my heart. I want to share that with you, and I know as a people we can do better. I know we can. And so, hey, I'm going to take a short break, and coming back, we're going to talk a little bit about business ethics. I have Michael Robinson, the executive director of the Business Ethics Alliance here in Omaha, Nebraska. Stay with me. We'll be right back. Go Big Red. Let's go. Hey, welcome back to Heartland Focus. I'm your host, Tim Clark. Hey, you guys, I hope you can join me on November 20th, the Terrence Bud Crawford fight. Terrence Bud Crawford, he's our champion. Nebraska, I'm so proud of him, his team. He represents us well. We need to go support him. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Terrence Bud Crawford fight. Please come and join me at November 20th in Las Vegas, you guys. Let's support our champion. I mean, this morning we got 90,000+ people at the game. Let's at least get about 10,000, 20,000 people to support our champion or more. Let's sell out that place in Vegas. Let's go ahead and do our sea of red and make sure they know that we support our champion. And on another note, Terrence, after you win this fight, I would love, for you to choose a charity, and I choose a charity, that we do a little fun little match, about 3 rounds with the oversized gloves on. And I think I can last about 2 or 3 rounds with you, man. So, and I'm at least hit you a couple times. You probably get the best because you got a lot to hit, right? Got a lot to hit, but I'm gonna tag you at least once or twice. All right, I just got it like that. I got that gift too, man. But hey, I want to introduce our special guest, Michael Robinson. He's with Business Ethics Alliance here in Omaha, Nebraska. Welcome to Heartland Focus, man.
Oh, thanks for having me, Tim.
Man, it's good to have you. You and I have been rocking a long time, and I tell you, it was good to hear from you in terms of what you're doing and get caught up. So you're this Business Ethics Alliance. What's mission, purpose? What are you guys doing? What are you waking up and doing every day, man?
Waking and feel my passion every day. That's what I'm doing.
See, that's what's up, man. That's that living passion. I love that. Yes.
But in regards to the Alliance, Tim, the Business Ethics Alliance was founded by Dr. Beverly Crocker 2008, and
Okay.
it was an Omaha-based ethics initiative, which our mission, is to build leaders, strengthen organizations, and elevate Greater Omaha through positive, practical business ethics education.
Man.
And in that formation of the alliance, we actually have 3 founding partners, which is Creighton University, Howard College of Business,
Okay.
the Greater Omaha Chamber of Commerce, and the Better Business Bureau, which we couldn't found, stable
That's
partners
right. Oh, yeah.
that are, known within this community, especially when it comes down to integrity.
Well, integrity. I mean, in my opening, talks today, this morning, I talked about, this whole thing of integrity, leadership matters. When you think about the core principle of ethics, talk a little bit about that, because I think, Michael, I'm seeing a shift of more tolerance of really, are we accepting, leaders now that just choose not to be honest, choose not to lead by facts and scientific data? I mean, ethics is a core principle of leadership. Correct. Talk to me, man. Is something going on? How do we get back to the center where it matters in terms of ethics?
Right. A great question, Tim. And with ethics, you look at values, and values are pretty much, is what a company withholds, throughout its operations. And when you look at the changing landscape that we're dealing with in our, business environment,
yes,
you have individuals who are bringing different set of values to the table. So are those values aligning with the organization's values? And that's one thing we try to keep front of mind, which impact the culture of organizations.
Yes, right. That's right. And the values, I mean, when you think about leadership and companies that really, I believe, do it really well, they're really driven by strong values, strong principles around ethics, because that becomes ethics in terms of just, that credibility. You build credibility through ethics and good values and doing what you say you're going to do. I mean, that's important. So with the 3 partners, and so if folks out there, let's pull up your website. We're going to pull up your website, but how do organizations, companies, how do they engage with you guys? What do you do for them?
Right. Well, actually, we provide, practical ethical tips and tools. As I referenced, whether it's through workshops, whether it's through consulting, whether it's through our conference. But our role at the Business Ethics Alliance is to provide a platform for individuals to have healthy dialogue about some of those, tough or uncomfortable conversations.
Yeah.
And understand that, as I referenced earlier, we're coming at it from different perspectives, different values, but how do we understand, I guess, the other individual's point of view?
Right.
Pertaining to ethics.
Yeah, and as a country, in terms of just Midwest, Midwest is built with strong values and principles. How are we doing here in the Midwest? When you think about, if you had to kind of give a scorecard in terms of just Omaha, Greater Omaha area, and companies that you've been engaged with, are we, scale of 1 to 5, are we at a 3, we at a 4? How are we doing, man?
Is that a trick question here, Tim? But for the most part, Nebraska alone, as we've known, Nebraska nice, and kindness is obviously front of mind with our organization, and the goal obviously with Ethical Omaha and our partners is obviously to establish an environment, a city to where individuals are welcome, and employees are valued, appreciated, respected, and heard in all accordance, within our organization.
Yeah, and I think, Michael, when you think about it, valued and appreciated. Those are 2 words that I caught from that conversation, and I think, I think we're moving, to a space where people are starting to value more diversity. I haven't seen it. I'm only 56 years old. I'm still a young cat. You're a young guy, but I haven't seen this much attention on diversity and inclusion, and that plays I think it plays a major part in with some of the things you're talking about and people accepting that.
You're spot on there, Tim. And that piece in referencing the valued, appreciated, respected, and heard, that plays a major role in organizations. And when you look at it even from a DEI perspective, that equity, and that comes in many different forms. Diversity comes in totally many different forms.
That's right.
But that's a platform to organizations. You have the opportunity to educate your colleagues, educate your leadership of how that looks, because I said we're all coming at it from different perspectives.
Absolutely. So talk about what's coming in terms of your conference and how people can access that and who should attend.
No, definitely very excited about our upcoming ethics-based conference. Is actually our third one. First one we had in 2019, and that was actually in person in 2020 pandemic, and
as they say, the lost year or whatever.
Correct. But it's ethics is always front of mind. So I don't say it as a lost year, for us, but it's a thing.
Yeah, that's
to
right.
Where 2021 we're doing a hybrid, to where it's actually in person as well as virtual. That way it's to broaden our audience, but also, as I referenced, we have to keep ethics at the forefront.
That's right.
Regardless, especially when you're going through tough times. That's when you have to make tough decisions, and having that, understanding those blind spots, and having individuals a part of that team who understand, direction we need to go as an organization.
Well, I tell you, we have it on your on our screen there, so people can register. Is it a cost or?
Correct. The Ethics-Based Conference, it's actually $150 to attend.
Okay.
And it's going to run from 11 to 5 o'clock, which we're going to have a networking session, following the conference. This is the first conference we're offering where there's breakout sessions.
Okay.
Focus is going to be inclusion, environmental, social governance, ESG. We have a session which we're very excited about, towards conversations with the CEO. That way you're going to get different perspectives from your CEOs such as Javier Hernandez of OPPD, John Sorrell at Core Bank, Ann Hendry at Nonprofit Association in the Midlands.
Okay.
So we're getting different perspectives from whether it's corporate, small businesses, or C-suite, because I said we all play a role as far as how we navigate the ethical climate of our city.
Right, and especially right now, even though I say a lost year in terms of 2020, but really it wasn't. There was so much gain. And I think you're so point on in terms of just during tough times, we must keep ethics as our compass.
You're spot on.
In terms of making decisions and things that we need to do, because if just like leadership matters, ethics matters, and integrity and paying attention to facts and how we treat each other, it matters, and not that it should matter. It's just, it needs to be the principle that guides us. And so, man, I wish you the very best with the conference, and if there's anything that we can ever do in terms of using this platform to continue to bring forth the importance of ethics, don't hesitate. Now, this is kind of out of the box. So we got 60 seconds, Michael, right? He's like, dang, this Tim he's throwing me a curveball, a curveball. So when you think of ethics, and like you said, you wake up purpose-driven every morning, man. Give my people out there something in terms of that they can grab a hold of just when you think about ethics and the way forward. How should they navigate that, and give them something that they can hold on to?
One thing I would say, Tim, is that as I referenced earlier, is that ethics are values that a company withholds throughout its operations. So that has to be something towards more as contagious throughout your organization. But the thing that I would have you take home with is that the fact that whether you're an employee, mother, father, sister, brother, are you feeling valued, appreciated, respected, and heard in your work environment? That's one thing you want to keep front of mind, when it comes down to it.
And what are those outlets and vehicles that make people feel that way? Because at the end of the day, it's about how you make me feel.
You're right about that.
I mean, it's that Michael Jackson, the way you make me feel. I should have. I just had, hey, man, I know, I'm an artist, man, so I'm sorry I threw that in there. No, but man, thank you so much for taking that, and I wish you the very best.
Thanks a lot, Tim.
But man. Hey, we're going to take a short break, and then we're going to talk about some other things happening in the Heartland. Stay with me. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back to Heartland Focus. I'm your host, Tim Clark. Hey, you guys, I know I talked about early on in terms of the infrastructure bill that's coming down the pipe, and there's a whole lot of money that's going to be out there when you look at the infrastructure bill, the ARP. I mean, billions of dollars. And one of the things that I hope here in Nebraska, that we take this opportunity to size up, to lift up, and really do the kind of things to help build a stronger Nebraska. especially when it comes to poverty and economically challenged areas. Let's put that money where we have the most need. State, local government, let's put the money where the most need. And this is an opportunity to do that, to help startup businesses, to help with retention of current businesses. So let's do right by the folks that's here in Nebraska with those added resources. That's all for this episode of Heartland Focus. Make today the beginning of your best year yet. Go out there, hug somebody from afar. We still need to touch and feel each other, even if it's from afar. Do your dance to your beat, to your rhythm. Don't let nobody tell you how to move or groove. I'm your host, Tim Clark. Until next time, take the time to be good to yourself. It makes it so much easier to be good to others. I'm out.